All right, what do we think about
Uh,
Vegas, ladies and gentlemen? We're finally here.
Vegas.
What a team. Might be my favorite team to watch in recent memory.
So
Uh,
I'll just start with the quick overview of the matches before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything everyone wants to talk about. The FaZe series was losable, right? You're going into that one knowing you're basically going to take an L here. So I don't think this was a critical series of the weekend. It really was not very important at all. So we can all agree here, right? All three of us, right? We're good with this one.
I think they all didn't care about this series in terms of
Everyone knew they were going to get stomped, right? Like,
Asim could have dropped the point 2 and he'd have still been on the team.
yeah, it would have been fine. 100% agreed. All good. Then we had the New York Subliners one where this one you at least had to put up a fight. You had to get something out of your guys. And unfortunately,
win a map, you know.
Win a map, or at least you stand out. You know what I'm saying? You got to stand out here. But instead, the guy the standout of this series isn't really. It's Hydra with a 1.27, Geo with a 1.39 in the positives, but it's the downside here is Asim with a 0.63, negative 22, and only 8,500 damage. It's been one of the hardest runs in CDL. It might be the hardest run in CDL history that he's had, unfortunately. And I don't know what to say of it. I don't know what to speak of it. Trey, as a pro, when you watch him play, when you've watched some of these maps and matches, what do you see that's going wrong for him? And what do you think is happening just overall?
To be fair, I will say this. I think this change got overgassed. I think everyone thought that Asim was going to come in with this expectation that they were going to go from what they were, which was, you know, let's say top 6. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that.
Sure.
To taking them to top 3s, beating New York and, you know, challenging Toronto and probably beating them. And what I will say is I think that put a lot of pressure on the team too. I think they've gone in there, like you said, the first time you spoke to Attach or heard Attach speak about it, Ace, it was, Asim's came in scrims and fixed all our issues. And right there and then, I said to you, I said, I don't care. I need to see it in matches. And this is what we got. They didn't fix much. Actually, they didn't fix anything. I actually broke everything. This change did. And Rab Ace, I think you can all, and a lot of people that watch dope checks every single week, I think a lot of you can, you know, now apologize to me for saying this change made them worse, because I said that. Everyone was calling me a moron.
I mean, well done, Trey. I never doubted you. I just think we've got to address the fact that something must have been different in the matches than in the practice, because like they played a couple of days with the team. They clearly thought that it was going to work. They continued scrimming in with a couple of weeks, but this is the worst stint of any player in the league ever for a permanent change. Like, it might be in COD history, not even in the league. Like, this is a player that's come into the league as a permanent change, has played 4 series, won 0 maps, and has been dropped. Like, you couldn't make this shit up. Like, it actually would be difficult to make this shit up, especially given the way Vegas is looking before. This will go down as the worst lineman card in history. 48. Like, the lowest is 50. And he's on a 48 because of the -4. Like, you might have to do something special with this line. You might have to frame this as like, this is history.
This sucks. Because like Octane said, like we said last week, this, in my opinion, is probably Asim's last team in the CDL.
Yeah, he's been positive in 0 maps.
In
0 maps positive.
What is it? What's it? Six CDL team?
Yeah.
I'm not counting, honestly. I'm not counting here.
Been dropped from every single one.
Yeah.
Maybe expansion. Yeah, it's sad to see him go out like this.
Well, I just don't know what it is, but it's the same shit every year. We always talk about it, how he starts the year well, and then it gets to March and he falls off. Like, why is this? And then people keep picking him up in April, thinking he's going to be good. And it's like, I feel like we've seen this play out before. It is sad. I mean, like, we don't want to like just trash on a pro that's not having a good time. But like, as soon as I saw Asim tweet out, well, just not meshing. Like, want to get it fixed up before the major. I'm like, you ain't seeing the major, buddy. Like, respectfully.
I would respect. Like, I would love to see their scrim results, because I know I know players gas their scrims.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Dylan said. He said he came on and wow, they're looking so much better and everything was great and scrims were going well.
Players always gas their scrims. They never. I think the only time no one's ever gassed their scrims is me, when I said we got shit on for a whole month in Vanguard. People have got to start, stop giving this like.
I'm gonna
if your scrims ain't going well, let it be known. I'm
gonna take a different angle of all this. While I do agree this may be Asim's last stint in the CDL for maybe, I hope not forever, but for some time, I want to put some context here to things, because to make it fair, right? To make it absolutely fair for Asim, and what he was facing and what he was challenged with coming into this team. His 4 matches that he lost were Optic, FaZe, Subliners, and we could say a rising surge, right? A fresh surge. 3 of those are not really winnable. And Vegas weren't having much success against the top 4 teams. That was actually their biggest plight, right? Remember, they were always good against the bottom teams and just couldn't crack any of the top 4. The surge match, we go to that. He actually doesn't play the worst. He has a 0.81. Geo 0.73. He actually has a decent, not great damage, but decent damage in a series that's winnable, quote unquote, for them. That's where I want to give him that grace. That there's 3 matches there that they shouldn't have won anyways. They're going in there knowing they're losing. So he's set himself up, unfortunately, in almost the worst situation possible. And then separately, I don't know who made the decision here to put this card out in the middle of the stage. I think it was fucked up. Truthfully, I believe this was a fucked up decision to put out this card and kick a man while he's down. And I don't know if it's ever been done before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have we ever seen a single card come out for a player mid-stage?
We did literally do it with Flames the other day.
For a positive. For a positive. And I'm all about the positivity.
That doesn't matter.
It works either way. It works either way. Like,
there was storylines around Asim.
I don't know. To me, it seems like very negative dick riding all around. That's all I have to.
Negative dick riding.
It's negative. It's negative dick. Should
I mean, we see it in every single sport ever. What's the difference?
Do we?
Yes, it happens in football all the time. Sancho literally went 007, didn't have a goal or assist, and he was one of the most expensive wingers to be bought for Manchester United. And they literally edited him in a James Bond suit live on TV in front of millions.
Wait. Actually, so to be clear, I would have preferred a meme. I don't mind if like Gersh comes in and makes some funny FaZe meme about this. I don't mind that. That's different. It's comedy. There's something funny to it. But this just seemed in bad taste and in bad timing, because it was basically right after the series was over. It was like pretty not too far off. This came out, so I just think it was a little messed up to kind of like, you have JCap right here agreeing, Kismet agreeing as well. He's not even on his team, right? Kismet's not even. He beat Asim, honestly. So it was really weird.
Kismet shot his body 2 hills into this game.
I think it's
not equivalent.
I think it's only bad taste because he's our friend. I think that's only bad taste because he's our friend, which is fair enough, but literally happens in every single sport ever.
Like, if this was Sib, would the community be saying, "Oh, it's so unfair, poor Sib man, poor little man"?
Oh, Dante.
No, they'd be saying,
Dante?
Yeah, Dante. They'd be saying, "Oh, little man, get roasted. That's what you get, buddy."
Let's keep this 100% real as real fucking human beings. Yeah, if this was Exceed Burger King card last in MW2, we would literally be on here laughing at it.
We did do that, but that was not dropped in the middle of a stage, to be fair.
No, but I'm saying if it was dropped in the middle of the stage, we'd all sit here and laugh at it. So I'm gonna respectfully take this as, Asim's my friend too, but
it's not even the friendship part of it. It's, again, I'm agreeing with Kiz, who has a good perspective on it, and I'm agreeing with the legend in JCap that this is some weird shit to do right after they take L's and he's not having a good stage. I think if the news about him getting released or dropped or whatever whatever that is factual, then releasing it would have made sense, right? Now he's not in the league anymore. Then you could say his CDL tenure is this is what he's done in it during this stage of it. Okay, fine. But doing it right after basically an L, it was like same day, right? May 4th. They played on May 4th, I think. Right? Wasn't it right after? If I'm not mistaken. Literally day of.
I mean, I think it was the day of. I think there's an interesting nuance here because, like, in the world of regular sports, this would not be considered to be problematic at all. I think your point, Trey, on the players that people like and dislike affects the reaction is definitely true. But I think it's also like how tight knit the community is. Because I made this point in the video that in the COD scene, everyone, the players, the commentators, the fans, the content creators, whatever, like what we're trying to do, we all want the best for the community, right? Like I think there's all a feeling that COD competitive as an ecosystem is not as successful as it could be. And there's a feeling that we're all kind of in the same boat, ship together, trying to get this to where we think it belongs. In regular sports, where the sport is solidified, that doesn't really happen. Like, it ain't about that. The NBA is a thing, the NFL is a thing, football is a thing, soccer, whatever. Like, they ain't going away. So, and also, people aren't, like, you know, as tight-knit as we are in a smaller community. So there's a feeling that whenever a player is, you know, disrespected or slammed in a certain way, it feels different just because of the way the community is, as opposed to, it's like the CDL hater central account. I find it hilarious. But
to be fair,
obviously
though,
it gets criticism.
Before you go, Trey, I'm getting cooked. Just because I'm getting cooked, let me say one thing before you go. A lot of people have trouble listening in context to certain things that are said here. I'd be okay with BP tweeting his face on a literal burger. I'd be okay with that. I wanted that to be clear. If there was comedy to it, if there was something funny involved, I'm all about some funny shit.
I think that'd be worse.
No. See, listen, that's the thing, though.
This guy endorsed this.
I'm okay with some funny shit because there's some creativity to it. Okay, people are talking about it, whatever. But the official, like, sanctioned card of qualifiers, only 4 matches in, this was the weird timing and bad taste of it. This is what I'm saying.
So if Asim's face was on a burger with a 48 rated card and the stats still there,
no, not the card, not the card.
Funny.
No, not on the card. I didn't say on the card. Damn,
son.
See, this is what I'm saying with listening. This is where I'm saying the listening part.
This is just stats. All it is stats. You can go find these stats on Breaking
My brother,
Point.
but similar to the chat right now. What's the context of when this was released?
Motherfucker, but Lion releases cards after an event.
After an event,
If you made this card a meme, then Ace would have to support it. That's the rules.
True. After an event, I would have been okay with it.
I get dead last at an event on a Saturday. I get knocked out on a Saturday. Lion Man has my 68 plus rated card out on a Tuesday. What's the difference?
Because everyone's cards are coming out in succession, not just your card individualized. That's the difference. And
I don't know. Lion Man's put me in some stinker of the weeks.
And I will give you that there is some cheese, I'm saying, because it's Asim. I'm gonna acknowledge that. I'm not gonna fucking back down from that point. But I would defend any individual player besides maybe earlier this season Snoopy, if this was the case with any of them. Whether it could be a random person. It could be, I don't know, who do I not have any thought about? It could be Diamond Con, right? I don't have no positive or negative about Diamond Con, but if Diamond Con's having a bad stint and they dropped a 48 card of him right after a match, I'd be like, bro, like, that's a little weird to do. Like, right after a match, no context, it's not burgers of the week, it's not anything. It's right after your match, your card. Matches aren't done for the weekend, and we're dropping your card right now. That's a little of odd taste to me. Any player, regardless.
Lineman, let's come up with some new shit. Player of the weekend, burger of the weekend.
I'm always down for that.
I'm okay. Yeah,
I started doing that on my F1
if
channel.
that becomes a thing, God bless. God bless. I'm with it. No problem. There you go. We figured it out. There you go. If that becomes a weekly thing, if we get a weekly thing segment of this, a weekly segment, then it's been done for good. Otherwise, I think it's kind of messed up.
How high would this card have to be for it not to matter? Like, if Asim had not played as bad and it was a 68 rated, if Lyman photoshopped it to be 68, people wouldn't care as much. I understand why it's like, it's a
No, it's
frustrating
definitely
point.
yeah,
But
it's definitely it's definitely a sour thing, but like it's no different to clicking on someone's stats and finding the stats. Yeah, we're a tight knit community, everything like that. But like, fuck it, go for Asim's replies after he's tweeted. Like, if you like that,
Asim's
no
re-
difference to
A-
this cut.
Asim's reply?
Asim's reply. No, not in this. Asim's
he
replies to
tweeted,
his
and then
tweet.
yeah, he was
Yeah,
obviously
he's just
getting
getting
cooked.
absolutely slaughtered. I
Oh.
feel sorry for the guy. I really fucking do. Right? Obviously,
But
he came on
also,
the
this is a world record. Like, we've got to commend history being made. Like, 48 rated cards is the worst we're probably ever going to see for a stint in the league. So you've got to say, you know what, like, we've got to recognize history.
He deleted his tweet. His
Yeah,
He
tweet was,
deleted it?
I don't even see a
No
tweet. I don't
way.
even see a tweet.
yeah, no,
Oh,
he
that's tough, man.
about his tweet about them not meshing well.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it-
Well, I
is there a
guess now he's been
screenshot?
dropped.
If someone has a screenshot, DM it to me.
I mean, we were going to look at the replies, and it doesn't really matter. He basically just
Yeah.
said,
Just that
you
the
know,
team weren't
need to
meshing
get
well.
more
Hopefully,
time, yeah.
hopefully we can change it for the major. Obviously, with the rumor him being dropped, he's obviously deleted it because he won't be going to the major. But like I said, like he's a professional. He's a grown ass man. I'm sure he would take it as For me personally, if Lineman tweets that card at me, I'm gonna look at it and think, "Wow, I'm not doing too well. I'm gonna get back in the lab and start shooting." I'm gonna use it as motivation.
Yeah,
Do I
there's
believe
clearly
it?
something wrong with Asim's play. Like, I think this is evident. As a player, he has lots of positive traits, and we've mentioned them before. How good of a teammate he can be in crucial moments, and how at the start of the year he genuinely tends to be a very solid player. But the fact that he's been on so many teams, has been dropped from so many, there's clearly an issue either with the translation of his play from practice to real matches, or exactly what it is with meshing with different teammates. But we've seen this several times now that he can absolutely fry kids in challenges, turns up to the league, and then whatever team he's on looks mid to bad, and then they drop him. It's like, it's clearly something about Asim's play, and I think I'm with you, Trey. Like, if you're Asim and you're seeing the negative reaction, you're seeing these cards, you've got to look internally, and I'm sure he is, and think, all right, what can I improve to be an actual mainstay? Because he doesn't want to be getting dropped every couple of months, and he might get another chance at some point. Whether he deserves one, I think, comes down to whether he actually improves on whatever these guys don't believe he was executing well on, because it's all too much of a consistent trend at this point. But Asim is gone, to our understanding. I put the tweets in the other
for oJhnny,
chat.
I believe, which is it.
Ace, if you want to bring him through.
Yeah.
It's a bigger mind blown for me, that one. I was not expecting that. There was also talks apparently about Hixie being brought into the mix, but with Vegas, I don't think that's going to happen with the because it costs money.
Yeah, here comes the breaking point tweet. This is the main one I wanted to look at, was the BP tweet. Before we talk about this, by the way, because that's kind of funny, I gotta lie, going to FaZe Black. But the BP tweet, he took Purge's spot again, basically. He kicked Purge out of Vegas, and now, as he comes down to challenges, he kicks Purge's spot out again, which is incredible.
My God, bro.
If I'm Purge, I'm hating this guy, bro.
Asim is the Purge Reaper.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
This is what Kendrick done to Drake. Just kept releasing diss tracks. Is what Asim keeps doing. The Purge. Kendrick has pure hatred for anywhere Purge goes. Asim just robs his spot.
It's kind of crazy how he did that, but I will say in challengers, speaking on challengers too, FC Black has been underperforming a bit as well. To say,
yeah.
The H-Town Sparts have actually been frying right now, and they've won like the last two events basically. So I'm not gonna.
She roasted Spot.
Yeah, literally. Since I roasted
this guy's been cooking.
This guy heard me roast him, and he's been on a fucking tear. Absolutely.
I will say we had that questionable stint with Spot and his tweets and everything like that. He's actually he's done his self-reflecting. He's actually come back and been frying and not done anything questionable. So congrats on being a better human being.
Yeah, honestly, you've got to say, typical from Spark, because he was wilding out. He was DMing me some crazy shit, and I'm like, bro.
That is because Ace did say he would spark him out next event, but I'd be scared of Ace too, to be honest with you.
We went to the next event, and he was fine. He was fine. He was doing great. He played well. We walked by each other. No sparks were sparked. Everything was dandy and fine. I like his mom and dad too. So there, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, baby.
Put this to bed
See you
quickly.
in Toronto, brother. We will be there.
Oh, we just
we can instigate it, Rab. Like, yo.
Oh,
Spark,
don't worry.
did you see
Don't worry
Did you
about
see that
that.
episode where A said it will spark you out, bro? Like, I wouldn't take
There he
this
is,
from him.
just over there.
Yeah, that
Listen,
guy
He's
right
got his
there.
back to you.
Listen, I'm all about the COD boxing league. I've talked about this many times. The Nuggets boxing league, the COD boxing league, the CDL boxing league, Warzone boxing league. Let's get it all going and get that going as fast as possible. But
Just
yeah,
throws in the Nuggets boxing league.
Purge has joined Boston Academy, so he's joining Awakening, Cammy, Yeez, and Purge. Seems like a good team going ahead. Boston Academy also just lost in the last challengers, like top 32 or something. They got upset. It was top 16 or top 32. They got upset terribly in this last event by some randoms too. So I assume the change is coming for them.
There was a lot of forfeits too, though. I don't know if you guys saw that. A lot of the Activision, accounts getting forfeited. I know Team War got forfeited, like top 32 or top 48, something like that, because the Activision wasn't right on the Faceit website, so they allowed it to be played out of the other team forfeiting them. There was a few questionable names that were in the top 16 this time round.
Yeah, there was some cheese going on with the Face admins for sure.
Pure
Jizz is crazy, by the way.
Just the duo name of Purge Jizz. Purges is
Purge Yeez, right?
Purge Yeez, yeah, Purge Yeez.
Purge Yeez, pure G's.
Gwyn is.
They won the Challengers Champs last year, you know.
Yeah, never tweet that again, Gwyn. Ever. Ever.
Dude.
That's pissed me off.
That might be the funniest thing I've ever read in my life. But yeah.
So Asim gone. I think like it was quite evident that the team wasn't working. I think you make a fair point, Ace, that sure, they played teams that they weren't necessarily expected to do that well against, but I'll just link you a quick one here. This is a match that was played earlier on in the season between the previous Vegas team and Toronto at the time. And this was a competitive series that was played right back then. This was hyper competitive, and it wasn't the sort of play that we saw with Asim in the roster. So for whatever reason it wasn't working, they needed to do something because they're slipping into the point of not making the World Championship anymore. Something had to give. The question is, what do you do? Clearly, I think they were going to get rid of Asim. They could have left it until the major, but I feel like that was not a good idea.
Yeah, I think the biggest point is like they won 2 maps, did they not?
With Asim?
Yeah, or
Zero.
was it no?
No, zero.
No,
No,
maps.
It's no maps.
No maps at all. There
Zero.
you go. Like that. If they won maps and kept it competitive, you might have been, might have been able to keep your spot. But 0 maps, 0 and 12. Like,
Record breaking, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is.
So he had to go. The question is, what do you do? Do you bring back Purge? It was an option. Apparently, it was considered. Do you bring in Hixie? We talked about it on the show. Apparently, that was considered. Again, as we say, Trey, for the European guys, unless you're Beans, unless you're maybe Nasty, who have some visa that's maybe rolled over from the previous season, it's chalked. Especially for a team like Vegas who ain't going to pay for shit. So apparently they considered Hixie. They considered bringing Purge back. And like, I got to say, if you drop someone and then the replacement is so bad you want to bring that player back after dropping them because you thought that was the right idea, I don't tell the greatest picture, I ain't going to lie, Ace. What is this guy doing?
Baby, come back. I need you back with me. Baby, come back. They really were outside his window, and I'm sure he just shooed them off and said, "Nah, I'm leaving FC Black. I'm rejoining Yeez and my boys over there at Boston Academy. I'm not taking my services back to Vegas."
There's no way Purge said no, I don't think. Because he's been kicked off phase back by Asim. Like, surely in an ideal world, he gets kicked off by Asim because he's taken his spot back in the league. They do a swap. I don't know. It seems like they decided that oJhnny was the better option. Of course, a man that's been on Legion before.
Yeah.
Alongside the GOAT, Jimbo La.
The choice of oJhnny here is probably the most surprising part. Is it another Geo situation where they played him in maybe a random scrim or something and like he was frying? I don't know. I'm very curious. I hope we get to hear from somebody soon, whether it's Attach or Nero or Geo, somebody of the thought process behind this change, if it is true, which it seems like it is now true.
I've got a name. Doug Sensamart, and he's GMing for everyone else. All of his old teammates. You all eat over here.
You kind
When
of
you're friends with Doug, you always eat.
Doug might be the Doug might be the guy you need to know.
Okay.
He might be the guy. He might be absolutely Himothy in this league, and you need to know him, or else your chances of getting ahead are not really great.
But Johnny, I mean, he's not even a name that I really considered in the challenger side this season. Like, he wasn't at the top of my radar. He's a player
didn't
that
know
I
he played.
imagine has been playing well in challengers, but like bringing him back into Legion, it's just confusing, right? Like, of the things that you needed, Purge, we talked about this. Purge provided some leadership. He provided some comms. He provided some, in-game leadership rated activities. To be fair, even as a player, he was getting better after he was on the sub. On a pure statistical perspective, as Vegas that team might not be great, but they were in conversation for being top 5, top 6. Does Johnny bring the things that Purge supposedly brought? Because surely the idea was with Asim is that, okay, you bring Asim in, he's going to play in some way similar to Purge, but he's maybe an upgrade mechanically, and he's going to do everything that Purge has done. And he's going to get you 2 more kills a series, 3 more kills a series. And that's going to be the difference maker in crucial moments. Obviously, that logic was flawed. But we're bringing Johnny in to what? Get some more kills? Because he wasn't bad when he was in the league on Legion a couple of years ago. He didn't set the world on fire. But it's like, is he bringing the things that Purge brought and that Asim was meant to bring? I don't see it.
I didn't even know he played this year. That's not me being like, for one, I'm not in tune with challenges that much, but I still keep up with like who's winning and who's at the top of the game, whatever like that. Johnny's just name hasn't popped up for me. I don't know if am I faded in that or no?
I'm looking for his stats either in challengers or when he was in the league. I'm trying to look for him right now. I'm trying to find him right now. Don't see him, but yeah, I haven't. That's what I was very surprised about. I haven't heard much of him, and I'm very curious where the idea of oJhnny came about, and maybe it was Gio said it. I don't know, but. Where does someone think to just grab him out of every possible COD player, all the ex-pros, right? You have people on FC Black. You have the Boston Academy team. You got a lot of guys you can pick from, but out of nowhere, oJhnny's the name mentioned and the one they pick up. So
this is the same thing that I said about Flames. He wasn't doing the best in challenges. He wasn't frying in challenges. He wasn't winning in challenges, but he's come out of challenges into this LAG team and made it competitive again. So, you don't always need to go for the top performers. Obviously, that's just the easiest market to go for. They won that challenge event, we'll pick up someone from there. So maybe they've done a bit of research and realized that, oJhnny's for them, which I'm okay with.
I have this right here. So this is, I don't know if chat, if you guys can't see it, I'll just zoom in a little more. But these are his MW3 placings, I guess, so far in the cups. He was with Lord Gaming a lot of the time, and his most recent one, he actually got second.
He got. I heard he got second in the elite and had a 1.05, and apparently had a 1.2 at the last LAN or something like that.
Major, Paul X, him, and Yuli. I actually watched that final. I didn't even register that. I was watching oJhnny. I was watching for Mike, honestly, more than anything. Major Maniac. Well, I guess second, 5-6. Hasn't really had too great of a year, to be honest, but maybe he might shock us. Maybe he's Flames 2.0. Flames has been playing pretty well. Maybe we get a 2.0 version of that. I would love to see him come in and be the glue. I know I said this about Asim, and chat's going to roast me. I don't even want to look at the chat on my right side right now, but hopefully he might be the glue that they need. And if it's not him, truly, they just got to bring Purge back. Like, at the end of the day, he was doing something. And if maybe it's a confidence issue, he goes to challenges, fries a little bit, comes back and does some work. But you may just need to bring back your original piece and keep it going.
You can't bring him back.
You don't think it's possible?
Bring him back, it ain't going to be the same.
Damn.
Also, how does that look like logistically, right? Because they cut him from the roster. So I'm pretty sure the way it works, Trey, is like when you cut him, you have to pay them 2 months of pay.
Yeah.
To take it to the end of their deal. But it's like, so once you've cut him, if you bring him back, how does that even work? Because you're already doing this weird like severance thing. Could you just bring him back and say, Scope will pay you to the end of the season?
No, he gets his 2 months and bring him back on.
But it's like there was only 3 months to the end of the year. It's what confuses me, right? It's like they could have kept him on the bench and paid 3 months of salary, but they cut him and they're paying 2 months of salary. Like Vegas is saving what, like $3,000, which maybe is significant for them doing this, but surely it's got to be worth considering that option.
Listen, he ain't going back. Listen, if your ex cheats on you and you go back, you're a moron. You know, it ain't the same. If
And
your
now
girl cheats
they're
on you
dropping
and you
Asim
go
and they
back,
got to pay 2 months to him.
exactly, it ain't the same. If your girl cheats on you, it ain't, and you go back, it ain't the same. If Purge goes back, they ain't gonna be the same. So they're gonna have to get someone else in.
I fear Trey is correct on this as well, but I also feel like it might genuinely be their best option.
Yeah, that's my flip side though. It might be like, bro, we made a mistake. It is what it is. You got to come back. Will it be the same team? I doubt it, because also their chem is going to be off. New maps, new modes. Separately though, I did find oJhnny's time in the league on Paris when he's on Paris Legion, 0.85 in Major 4 qualifiers of Vanguard, and then I think he got dropped here, but this is actually Major 4. Major 4, 0.88. So his time stint in the league was a 0.85 during qualifiers, 0.88 at the event. Not fantastic, not terrible, but not fantastic at all. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious how it's going to work out for Vegas.
I just don't know what they do because, like, okay, you've got rid of Purge. You're paying him 2 months' salary to get rid of him. You now get rid of Asim. You're paying him 2 months' salary to get rid of him. You're bringing in Johnny. If it don't work, what do we do? Like, is Asim going to be benched and they might bring him back? Like, are we going to drop another player?
This is Vegas, bro. They don't keep players on the bench.
Right, these guys, like, okay, maybe the team made this decision, but the org is fraudulent.
Vegas fucked themselves over by dropping Purge.
Right, they had champs on a platter, on a silver platter, because there's some other dog shit teams in this league, and now they're scrambling to get back in there. Johnny is surely not the answer.
Listen, the issue was, and this is what killed them. All right, they didn't drop Purge after the major. They dropped him after a 1-on-1 split in the league in online matches. That's where you fucked up. He played
perfectly fine in that split as well.
That's where you fucked up. If you were gonna get rid of Purge, you get rid of him after the major, not 2 matches in where you go 1-on-1. That's unacceptable. That is by far one of the worst mistakes I've ever seen.
I agree fully. The only other shot I would give in terms of players to replace with if this goes badly, unfortunately, he's out because of, he said, some reasons behind the scenes, personal reasons. But I think Reese Vivid would make a lot of sense on this team. I think for Vivid on this team, you actually have something there that could be.
I mean, back with Nero, like makes so much sense, no? At least Vivid and Nero, like, sure, their time on Boston was up and down. But when they both played well, like, we know that they can play well on each other. They can get like top 4 placings, which is what they did at a point in MW2 before it all went tits up, of course. And
give Reese the chance to be more on the flex side with an AR with some of these maps and stuff too. I think you have some success on this team. I think he could run both roles pretty well. And if he wasn't going through this personal thing he mentioned,
he said
Twitter,
that things are going better. I know that he tweeted out like he's, things are on the up. Maybe you said, so he may be available soon. Would be my hope.
This was Vegas's
Vivid the Warrior. It is.
Oh,
this was Vegas's like redemption year. We were literally looking like, oh my god, they're reformed. They're not looking like them. They're not the Vegas coin. They're not the Paris coin anymore. This was their redemption, and they go and fuck it up.
How hard can it be, man?
I literally promise you, if Asim came in after the major and not 2 matches in, I promise you this team looks different with Asim.
They also had quite a long time. Like, there was a big gap between Major 2 and Major 3.
That's my point. That's my whole
Literally
point.
2.5 weeks they could have had a practice.
That was 2.5 weeks of practice.
At least they would have known. They could have brought Purge back then if they wanted. You know what I mean? Ugh.
They could have tested out Asim in scrims. They could have, they're like, oh shit, it's not working. We're keeping Purge. Listen, this is why I feel sorry for Asim. All right, yeah, like you've got to perform no matter what. All right, he didn't perform, but he's coming in halfway, like midway through a fucking split. Like that's unacceptable. Like it's not like they were getting. It's not that they were getting shit on and Asim's come in. They went 1-on-1 and then he's come in and they got shit on. At least give him yes, I understand he's been shit on, but he didn't even give him a chance. Like he literally had 2 days of scrims before playing FaZe. Like fuck me.
It is such a wild timeline. It's like an actual permanent change that they tried to make. That he came in, after the start of a split of online qualifiers, and he's leaving before the end of the same set of online qualifiers. Like, what is this? Like, we've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, it's how flimsy the CDL is too right now. It's how quick people are swapping it out, how flimsy rosters are. No one's spot is really that safe unless you're in the top 4 or you're the best #1 person on your team. Your spot is up for grabs 100%. But I will say here, Vegas have a chance to at least have some momentum going into Toronto. Their last match is against Boston. This is also just unfair for the Asim train as well because Johnny's going to come in and fucking cook Breach. Watch. He's going to come in and look like a superstar shooting against Breach. And
this is Asim's former team as well. Like, they could have at least let him have the revenge game, huh?
Yeah.
Asim usually does quite well in revenge games.
It's just it's a very bad situation all around. But I think we've hit every nail. I think we've shut the coffin on this one overall. Any other final points on Legion or the Asim situation overall, guys?
Well, I don't see him making champs.
Oh, okay.
That's I don't see him making champs anymore.